Hello everybody and welcome to my F1 2021 My Team Career Mode. We are now at France in Season 4. Don't forget, if you haven't seen the last episode from Canada, I urge you to go back and check that one out before you come back and check this out. This is your last chance to do so before spoilers. So, sporting another very temporary livery here, we are now charging into the midpoint of the season, and my championship lead so far remains pretty comfortable, I'm not going to lie. But Canada, mistakes were made and I threw away an easy 1-2 for the team. Still managed to get third, but we're now here at France and nothing short of a win here will satisfy. It's been a couple of races since I last had one, so I think it's about time that we get that momentum back into this season. I know I'm leading it by a hell of a long way and that less would be adequate, but I'm going after the win here. Like I said, it's all about momentum, and I feel like right now the momentum, I'm having to push that a little bit harder to try and gain it, and mistakes are being made, so I need that momentum back. And what better place to get it back than one of my favourite tracks to drive. Okay, IRL, it doesn't always produce exciting races, but as a challenge to drive, I very much enjoy this circuit. Anyway, we're now in Q3. We've made it through the first parts of qualifying very nicely indeed, and we're now coming around the last corner. Is it going to be pole position? Let's find out. No, it's not. It's P4. So it's a Red Bull 1-2, Joe H2O 3-4, and Alpha Tauri 5-6. So very much 2x2 at the front. But who's going to prevail when it comes to the race?
Welcome along then to France, host of the world-famous Tour de France. But we're not talking two wheels today, we're talking four, in a country widely thought of as giving birth to the art of motor racing back in the late 1800s. We've come a long way since then, and you're about to find out how far. It's time for the French Grand Prix. 6 lefts and 9 rights give us a total of 15 corners here at the circuit Paul Ricard, and a lap covers an overall distance of 3.6 miles. Average speeds will be somewhere in the region of 142 miles per hour, and they'll be maxing out on the Mistral Straight at around 205 miles per hour. Now, Anthony Davidson, I wonder, might we be in for some early pit stops today from the midfield teams, all trying to put some pressure on or disrupting things for the leaders up front?
If you're in the middle of the pack, you got your own race to run, I don't think they're going to be thinking about causing trouble up front. However, closer to the head of the pack, don't be surprised to see some split strategies. If you're running second and third, for example, bringing one car in for an undercut while leaving the other one out there longer can put a lot of pressure on the leader and maybe force them into an error.
With the race minutes away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. Young superstar Max Verstappen starts from pole position, and starting next to them is George Russell. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Leclerc, Joker, Yuki Tsunoda, and Gasly, Bottas, Sainz, Norris, and Antonio Giovinazzi, Ocon, Lundgaard, Daniel Ricciardo, and Stroll, Schwartzman, Vettel, Callum Ilott, and Guan Yu Zhou, Markelov, Latifi, Mick Schumacher, and Nikita. Time to go racing as we head to trackside.
Right, here we go then, on the grid. 27 laps ahead of us. P4, what can we do? It's lights out and away we go. Verstappen's got away well, we haven't, and the Alpha Tauris have just jumped me there. Both of them have, but hopefully we'll be able to hold on to P6. We have got Valtteri Bottas on my outside, but that's not happening. I've shut that one straight down. The Alpha Tauris now coming together slightly there. So is there room for a move on the inside? Gasly's not really giving me it, and Tsunoda has just swept around my outside there. But I'm now going to try and go around the outside of them here. Can we make that work? No, I've gone off the track. And I'm trying to rejoin. I'm still side by side with Yuki Tsunoda now coming to the inside of the left-hander. And Tsunoda just, well, I feel like he had the momentum to carry going alongside me there. I gave him the space, but Tsunoda decided just to completely back out of that one. So we're up into P5 then. Although we are still one place down on our grid position. Leclerc has got ahead of one of the Red Bulls though, so that's good news. And the even better news is that he's holding him up a little bit for me, but I need to get past Pierre Gasly first in order to stand a chance against the Red Bull. So hopefully Leclerc can just keep him back just for that little bit longer while I try to figure out a way past Gasly. But that car is, like I said, it's a rocket ship on the straight, so getting past him is going to be very difficult indeed. Coming up to the end of lap 3, and Russell has got past Leclerc, so that's bad news for us because now the two Red Bulls are starting to clear off a little bit. They have got some supreme pace around here, and it's going to be very difficult to challenge them, especially when we're stuck behind Leclerc and Gasly, who are battling it out over P3. And that, like I said, the AlphaTauri just seems to have a rocket ship attached to it with how quickly it goes, especially in the hands of Pierre Gasly, although Yuki Tsunoda right behind me is also getting interested. Jeff's in my ear about fuel. Again, especially when we get to the stage of the career mode when the cars are maxed out, I always like to underfuel the car because I'll make that fuel up in the race thanks to the car being completely upgraded. Anyway, after being unable to make gains behind Gasly and Leclerc, we decide let's pit a little bit earlier, try and get some kind of undercut on them. Hopefully I'll get a clear track. There are cars coming up. Can I just get ahead of them? Yes, I can. And Leclerc is actually right behind Guan Yu Zhou there, so they pitted a lap later and ended up getting caught out in this traffic, and that's brought me right up to them. Right, I need to get past Guan Yu Zhou now. I've got past my teammate. Didn't make it difficult for me. Let's get alongside the Williams, and well, we've got past before the braking zone. Next up is the other Williams of Callum Ilott, and he should be relatively straightforward to pass, being that he's in a Williams. We're going to try and go around the outside here. Ilott trying to hang on down the inside, but eventually we make the move stick, and now it's time to try and get after Verstappen. So the undercut has really worked for us, because the one thing I didn't think of is that we have made gains quite significantly on the Red Bulls. The gap was around 3.5 to 4 seconds, but we really made up a couple of seconds with that. And now we've got Russell and Ocon battling it out. Ocon's had to drop back. We need to get past him now. Ocon not giving me any room at all to get through, but I'm going to try and nip through here in the middle of the corner. Ocon not approving of that move, but we have got it done. And now we're going to try and stay with the Red Bulls. Max doesn't seem to have all that much pace in this phase of the race. He was disappearing off into the distance in the first part, but since the first round of stops, he's just not been able to build the gap. George Russell is there, and you know what? If these two start battling, I'm going to get very interested here. So the Red Bull's pace, not as strong in this phase of the race as it was earlier on. But now I'm going to have to use this opportunity while they're being held up, especially now while they're being held up in traffic, to try and make these gains on them. I'm going to have to try and find a way through. I'm gaining and gaining and gaining on Russell down the straight. He brakes very early. I'm going to try and go around the outside, make the inside of the next part of the chicane. And that is a brilliant calculated move on George Russell there to get what is effectively P2 in this race. I'm now going to send it up the inside of Stroll here. Stroll's not really giving me the room, but I force my way through, and now Verstappen is tucked up behind the Ferrari of Schwartzman up in P3, so Robert's doing a fine job there for now. Obviously, he hasn't pitted yet though, and I think he will fall down the field quite significantly as the race goes on. But for now, Verstappen having a look at getting past Bobby Schwartzman. He's going to go around the outside of turn 1. He's got it done. I'm going to try and follow him through, but I just don't have the momentum to get that done, unfortunately. Verstappen now going to use this time to try and get away a little bit from Schwartzman, so that is why I need to dispatch of him quickly. But I'm not too fussed. We've got a DRS point coming up, and I'm just quite happy to sit back because Verstappen won't have the DRS. Schwartzman will, and so will I, but I'll have the run on Schwartzman just because the car is faster, and look at that, I'm already gaining on the straight. I'm going to go around the outside. Schwartzman not giving me all the room in the world, but a sweep round the outside. And now the battle is on between myself and Max Verstappen. Half a second is the gap, and Christian Lundgaard is in P2. And I am just trying to stay with the Red Bull #1 here as we end lap 12 out of 27. And like I said, at this stage of the race, our pace just seems to be that little bit better than Red Bull. I've got the DRS. I haven't quite got Overtake just yet, so I've got to be a little bit more patient. However, this is the straight to do it. DRS, Overtake, Slipstream. Let's see if we can use all three to get past him. We're getting very close. Verstappen's going to cover. I'm going to take the outside line, and once again, just sweeping around the outside and taking the race lead here in France. And we've now made our second pit stop of the day and gone on to another set of medium tyres. Hopefully going to undercut Verstappen again. And let's just see where we end up. Currently pushing hard. Leclerc and Tsunoda second and third at the moment. Russell seems to have dropped back, but now he's pitted. He's 5 seconds behind me. He's just got past Ricciardo and Lundgaard. Verstappen has come out in P5, so it's not really worked out for Max at all in the second phase of the race. I just wonder if somewhere he took a little bit of a knock, or he's just had some kind of a problem. No idea why he's dropped back. It's also starting to spit with rain now, and we've got a Haas pulling off to the side. I believe that's Nikita Mazepin. And we've also got Sebastian Vettel pulling off as well, as the track is starting to get a little bit wet towards the end of the race, and we're on the last lap. And I elected not to pit because nobody else is pitting. I would just lose out big time there. Verstappen has made his way back into P3. Again, I've no idea what happened to him in that second stint. Maybe he went on too long, or maybe he took a knock on a back marker. I don't know. But anyway, DRS is now disabled, and we're having to just go very, very carefully on this last lap. Any mistake, any foot wrong, any overly aggressive hit of the throttle, and the car is just going to go round. So we've got a nice little gap, so I need to just take it as easy as possible. I've got Markelov in my way here. This is flashbacks to Baku, isn't it? It is so slippery here. I'm literally getting nervous for this last sector now, especially this fast right-hander. And I've skated straight off the road there, but I've not lost anything. And this long right-hander now is going to be quite daunting. It's all about picking the moment to go on the throttle, and you can see just how little grip there is. You've got to just be so gentle with the throttle application. Look how slowly I'm having to go. I'm already off on my fastest lap, and we haven't even got to the last corner yet. That is how slowly I'm having to take it. We're now coming round the final corner. Russell has made gains, but I'm taking it stupidly easy. I said I'd settle for nothing less than a win, and that is what we have taken here, and a fastest lap. Maximum points from the French Grand Prix.
Another superb French Grand Prix comes to an end, and it's a thoroughly deserved victory. And talk to me, what do you think it was that sealed the win for them?
Well, they certainly stood out as a drive with tons of confidence on the track. I think their ability to keep their cool, even during some of the more hectic parts of the race, meant they were able to capitalise on the mistakes of other drivers, giving them the opportunity to make their way to the top spot with ease.
Well, what a thrilling end to an incredible Grand Prix weekend. Our top three finishers should be incredibly happy with what they were able to achieve out there today. Let's have a look then at the
So
driver's
there we go
standings.
then, we have
Joker
won
increases
French
their
Grand
championship
Prix.
lead.
It is
So,
P2
Anthony
for George
Davidson,
Russell,
who would you rank as
P3
your
for Max
driver of the day?
Verstappen.
Well,
Again, I
Crofty,
have
Daniel
no
Ricciardo
idea
would
how
have to
he
be my
dropped
driver
so
of the
far
day.
back, but
It's less
anyway,
about what he did right
Gasly
and
ends
how
up
little he did
P4, then
wrong.
it's
Perfect
McLaren's,
driver.
Daniel
It's time
Ricciardo
to see how
5th,
things are shaping
Tsunoda
up
6th,
in
then
the
it's
Constructors'
Lundgaard
Championship.
Leclerc
No
down
change
in
at the
8th.
top
What
spot,
happened to
but
him?
with today's points, their
9th
hold
is
on the
Sainz
lead
and
is
Robert
getting weaker. There
Schwartzman
was
picking up
also a strong
another point
showing
for
from the
Ferrari
Mercedes team today
in this
as they make
race,
their
but
way up the standings.
if
Well,
anything
that was
mystifies
certainly
me
an
now, it's how
incredible
Leclerc
weekend of
ended up in
racing. Be sure
P8.
to join
It's a
myself
very
and Ant for
disappointing
more
result,
exciting Formula 1
but he
action
still
soon.
retains P2 in the Drivers' Championship. The gap goes back up. Russell and Gasly are fighting it out over 3rd. Verstappen is 5th, Tsunoda is 6th, and it's Sainz still in 7th, just over Ricciardo and Norris and Lundgaard, holding on to the top 10 of the drivers' standings. So, yeah, my sizable gap going up in the championship lead, that's what I like to see. Can we keep this momentum going, though? Austria is next. Thank you for watching this installment. Don't forget to leave a like and hit the subscribe button if you're new here and you want to see more content from me. Until the next time, I've been Joe. Thank you for watching. TTFN, guys. Ta for now.